يلا who wants to read? يلا who wants to read?
أستاذ إذا ما حدا بده يبلش أنا ببلش.
طيب يلا يا مريم start.
When an organism encounters the same pathogen more than once during its lifetime, the immune response against this pathogen becomes more and more efficient.
Okay. فإذا when your body sees the same pathogen more than once, your immune system becomes more and more powerful and the response will be more and more efficient. Okay. The flu virus.
The flu virus exists in different variants having different antigens. We study the immune responses triggered by an individual upon contact with the flu virus 3 times during his lifetime.
Okay, فإذا الفلو virus we have many variants يعني if you want to say many types of it, okay, many forms. So we will study the immune response triggered by an individual upon contact with the flu virus 3 times during his lifetime. Okay, the document below.
The document below presents the age of this individual at time of contact with one of the 3 variants of the flu virus and the evolution in the amount of antibodies specific to antigens of variant 1.
Okay, فإذا let's see now the age of this individual, okay, with one of the 3 variants of the flu virus and evolution in the amount of antibodies specific to the antigens of variant 1. فإذا we are checking for the variant 1. طيب. Okay, age of the individual يا مريم. First one.
أول شيء 2 years old.
Individual in contact with variant 1 of the flu virus. طيب. For this variant يا مريم we identify how many antigens.
في عنا 4 antigen A, antigen B, antigen C و antigen D.
Okay, A, B, C and D. طيب. You can see here يا مريم that some of them are on the outside while the others are on the inside. صح؟
Yes.
فإذا the antibodies usually they bind to the outside ولا to the inside usually?
To the outside.
To the outside. لأن the inside it should enter the cell, be broken down and then presented on the surface of the infected cell. طيب. Now the amount of antibody here for this one in this case
is low.
Okay, the 4 types are low. A, B, C, and D. 4 types are low. A, B, C, and D. طيب. Now, let's look at the second individual. The same individual, sorry, the second case.
Yes, the same individual at age of 5 years in contact with variant 2 of the flu virus. And the antigen A, F, C, or A?
A, F, E, F, C, A. E, F, C, A. Okay. So,
yeah.
He has high amount of antibodies against which ones?
Against A and C.
A and C. Why?
لأنه تاني مرة بيشوفهم.
لأنه he will see them for the second time. طيب, do you have antibodies for B and D?
هو بيكون في antibodies بس هو إنه ما رجع شافهم.
فإذا الامount here of B and D are very low, 0.5 حتى أقل من ال first time.
Yes, لأنه صار له زمان ما رجع شافهم ولسه ما رجع شافهم مرة تانية.
Okay, very good. يلا يا مريم. In the third case.
The same individual at the age of 20 years in contact with variant 3 of the flu virus.
Okay. The antigens are EDGA.
And the amount of antibodies will A would D high.
A with D are very high. لأنه ال A هو شافها قبل هلا هون كمان إسا أعلى من تاني مرة.
Yes. بس الاي اعلى من الدي لانه هاي تاني مرة بشوف الدي اما تالت مرة بشوف الاي.
الدي تاني مرة بيشوفه فمشان هيك اما الاي اعلى منه لانه ثالث مرة بيشوفه. احسنتي. طيب name the specific immune response revealed in the above document and justify your answer.
استاذ هي more immune response.
Okay, why you said humoral?
استاذ لانه في عنا antibodies
We have the use of, we are studying the amount of antibodies against different antigens يلي هن ال A, B, C and D. Okay, and their amounts.
Yes.
فإذا specific humoral immune response since following the entry of the virus of variant 1 having the antigen A, B, C and D, the amount of antibodies specific to each of these rise to 1 AU. Okay, very good. طيب justify the following statements. يعني these are true statements but we want to justify by using the documents.
Yes.
Okay, by using the documents. Let's see. Okay, the secondary immune response is more amplified than the primary immune response. Prove it.
Since the amount of antibodies in the second immune response was higher than the amount of antibodies against antigens in the first immune response.
Which example you will use to prove this?
A was C.
A or C, either A or C. A in the first time it was 1 AU. In the second immune response it becomes how much?
5.
5. Okay, فإذا أكيد secondary is more amplified.
Yes.
Secondary is more amplified. Okay. طيب فإذا let's read the answers. Okay, Maryam, let's read this part please.
During the first contact with the variant 1 of the flu virus at age of 2 years, the amount of antibodies specific for each of the antigens A, B, C, and D was 1 AU, which corresponds to a primary immune response.
Okay.
However, during the second contact at the age of 5 years with the variant 2 of the flu virus, having the antigens C and A in common with the variant 1, the amount of antibodies specific to A and C increase respectively to 5 AU and to 6 AU, which is higher than 1 AU, while the amounts of antibodies specific to B and D remains low, 0.5 AU. This means that the immune response triggered upon the second contact with the same antigen or secondary immune response is more amplified than the primary response.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Is it clear, guys, for everyone? Is it clear for everyone? Qasim, why you are late, ya Qasim? إذا إسا بتجي
أستاذ كنت محضر الحصة على 1:03.
ما بعتناها على الجروب يا قاسم.
وهلا افتحت الجروب أنا.
الله يسامحك يا رب.
آمين.
طيب. أوكي. هعيدها يا محمد. عم يقول اثبت لي أنت إنه السكندري ريسبونس أقوى من البرايمري ريسبونس. طلع يا محمد أنت على الأنتيجين على الأنتي بوديز كمية الA. الانتي بوديز against antigen A. قديش كانت كميتهم بالبرايمري ريسبونس؟ How many they are؟ 1 AU. بالسكندري ريسبونس قديش صار الA؟ 5 AU. يعني معناتها when you see the same antigen again your response will be stronger, faster, تمام and last longer كمان. فهيدا دليل على انه secondary response is more amplified اقوى. وصلت لل 5 AU انت يعني تقريبا 5 times اقوى. اوكي محمد شكله طلع. مش الحال فهمته؟ clear? Okay. شو second sentence يا مريم I need to prove?
A secreted antibody is specific to the antigen and not the variant of the virus.
The specific antibody is أو secreted antibody عفوا specific to antigen مش to the variant of the virus.
Yes.
Okay. Why?
أستاذ فينا ناخد مثلا الأول والتاني.
Okay. What do you want to say here?
إنه بالsecond variant كان عنا antigen A وantigen C فكان عندهم high antibodies. أما مثلا بالthird variant كان عنا antigen A وantigen D بس ما عنا C فكانوا هن high antibodies.
اوكي فاذا دائما عم يكون الهاي ما له علاقه بموضوع الفاريانت انما له علاقه بموضوع الانتيجين نفسه. اوكي لانه انا الانتي بودي ما حيمسك بالفاريانت كله بالفيروس كله. It will hold only the part that it will identify.
Yes.
فاذا read please.
During the third contact at 20 years of age with the variant 3 of flu virus having the antigens A and D in common with the variety 1, only the amount of antibodies specific to these antigens increases respectively to 8 AU, which is higher than 1 AU and 6 AU. Thus, the secreted antibody is specific to the antigen and not to the variant of the virus.
Okay. Okay. Clear يا جماعة until now?
Yes.
For everyone? Okay. طيب. صبحية, when can we hear your voice? يلا يا صبحية. When can we hear your voice? ما فيها هلا. طيب إن شاء الله فإذا another day. طيب someone else. Someone else volunteers. يلا. شو بالكلاس كله معنا غير شخص واحد شجاع بس؟
أستاذ عندنا النت ضعيف.
طيب بتحاولي قد ما بتقدري؟ Can you try read بس؟
حسنا حيمشي الحال.
طيب ما أنا مشكلة، ما أنا مشكلة، no problem. طيب الشباب وين؟ الشباب؟ قاسم، محمد، عبد الله، تحسين. شو وينكم؟ لحظة ليجيب الكتاب قاسم. هنخلص الاكسرسايز يا قاسم.
أستاذ خلاص فتحت شوي ترجع.
مش الحال يعني تحسن شوي؟ لا اجا قاسم، اجا
Yes,
قاسم يا
yes, I can
جنى.
hear you.
تفضل 2 3 يا قاسم.
2, 3. The organism keeps memory for an encountered antigen for more than 10 years.
اوكي اثبت لي هيدي من الدوكيمنت يا قاسم. انه organism keeps memory for more than 10 years. يلا اثبت لي اياها. أي أنتيجين فيك تستعمل وفيك تستعمل ضده الأنتي بوديز. يلا يا قاسم من الدوكيمنت، هل دل عندك أنت immunity more than 2 years؟ more than 10 years كمان؟ هل عندك شيء immunity هالاماونت؟
أستاذ طلع قاسم.
اوه سوري. طيب can you continue يا جانا please؟
Yes, okay. أستاذ بجاوبك عليه لل 2.3.
إذا بتقدري yes.
Okay, the organism keeps memory for an encountered antigen for more than 10 years, and that because as tested in the experiments of the above, when the flu virus was in contact with the young 2-year-old child having the antigen BDCA and faces the same flu virus but in different variant carrying the following antigen, which is EDGA. In the common antigens D and A, the response was more amplified.
فإذا
after
أنت
10 years
استخدمتي
يعني.
هون مين؟ الدي اند اي صح؟
Yes,
استخدمتي الدي اند اي لتثبتي انه دلت اكثر من 10 years، لانه
Yes.
اخذتي بين ال 2 years وبين ال 20 years.
yes,
اوكي، فاذا الاي ما فيني استدل بالاي اكثر، بستدل بالدي اكثر.
صحيح.
اوكي؟
Yes.
فاذا بهالحاله ليك الدي مثلا اول مره هو شافه بعمر 2 years، قديش عطى كميه انتي بوديز 1 AU، رجع شاف الدي اجين بعد قديش؟ بعد 18 years، صارت كميه الدي قديش طلعت؟ لل6 تقريبا، صحيح؟
Yes.
فاذا can you read the answer please؟
Yes, the organism keeps memory for an encountered antigen for more than 10 years since the amount of antibodies has increased to 6 AU, which is greater than 1 AU, 18 years after the first contact with the antigen D, or since the amount of antibodies remains constant and at 0.5 AU from the age of 5 to 20 years.
اوكي، هلا هن they accept these two، بس انا بفضل الاول اللي حكينا عنه اللي هو عن الدي اكثر شيء.
Yes.
لانه اكثر شيء هو ظاهر انه شو اسمه مبين عنده. طيب جانا name the two cells implicated in the immune response triggered against variant 1 and indicate the role of each one.
T4 will be cells.
الT4 والB cells.
T4 here that recognize the antigen in order to activate the B cells. Will B cells secretes antibodies to destroy the region.
اوكي، فاذا هون الT4 والB lymphocyte. طيب ما في معه شي وحده ثالثه؟
أنا هول اللي شفتهم هول الثاني.
نعم.
أستاذ هم كأنه عم يسأل غير البي سيلز.
Name two cells implicated triggered against variant 1. طيب خلينا نقول كل السيلز نحن مطلوبين.
الماكروفاجز والبي ليمفوسايت والتي 4.
شو قلتي يا مريم؟
أول شيء الماكروفاج والتي 4.
جنى سمعتي في ماكروفاج بالموضوع؟ ليش الماكروفاج يا مريم؟ Why we need macrophage؟
أستاذ هو بيعمل انجوف
ما أنت تي 4 بدك تنشطيها عن طريق مين؟ ماكروفاج
لما بيصير عندنا دايابيتيس.
تماما.
طب هنا بدهم تو، كيف بجيب لهم واحد ثالث؟
ما سمعت.
انت بتحطي الماكروفاج والتي 4.
اوكي، فيك تستخدمي الماكروفاج والتي 4. تمام.
من دون B cells.
لأنه البي ليمفوسايت معروفة إنه هي مع الأنتي بوديز.
اوكي ليكون الانسر كيف؟ macrophage after phagocytosis of the antigen they become APC activate specific T4 lymphocyte. Okay. LB T4 once activated they secrete the interleukin 4 activate LB. Will LB identify free antigen through the membrane antibodies to be activated. Plasma cells secrete specific antibodies against the antigen. صح؟
Yes.
وضحت يا جماعة؟ فإذا البلازما سيلز هن مشتقين من البي ليمفوسايت، فإذا نحن استفدنا من الماكروفيج والتي 4. Okay. Jana, can you continue?
Yes. Explain how the secreted antibodies contribute to the destruction of the flu virus.
Okay, how the secreted antibody contribute to the destruction of the flu virus. هيدي حافظتيها أنت.
إنه by preventing pathogens from entering or damaging cells by binding to them.
أيوة binding to them بيرجع مين بيجي بيساعدهم زيادة كمان؟ مين بيجي كمساعدة؟ بعد ما بيعملوا bind. يلا تذكري.
The proteins.
لا البروتيز لما تكون بكتيريا هيديك. في نوع من السيل بيجي بيساعد هون. يلي بيعمل اوبسونايزيشن. ما عم تدرس جنى منيح. يلا يلي بيعمل اوبسونايزيشن مين؟ مين بيعمل اوبسونايزيشن؟ اقري الانسر يا جنى لنشوف.
Okay, the specific antibodies neutralize their corresponding antigens of the flu virus by binding to them through their specific antigenic binding sites, forming immune complexes. Thus, the antibodies forming immune complexes. Thus, the antibodies become able to bind through their constant part on macrophages that phagocyte the whole immune complexes, thus destroying the virus opsonization.
Exactly. بيجي الماكروفيج بتبلع الاثنين مع بعض. صح؟ بتبلع الاثنين مع بعض.
هي الماكروفيج.
ما الماكروفيج بتعمل اوبسونايزيشن لما بتبلع الانتي بودي هو ماسك الانتيجين.
أنا بتذكر فاجوسايتس بس ناسي الأوبسونايزيشن.
هي العملية اسمها اوبسونايزيشن. The process is called opsonization, okay?
Okay.
تحسين, can you answer the last question? لأنه أنت you didn't solve it in the homework. صح؟ يلا يا تحسين. قاسم وعبد الله out. ليه؟ Why they are out؟ هلا بيرجعوا بفوتوا. طيب يلا يا تحسين. اوكي. طيب تحسين cannot answer maybe. طيب جنى يلا continue the last part here. Specify
immune response is capable alone to eliminate cells infected by the virus.
Okay, if this immune response alone is capable to eliminate cells infected by the virus?
No.
No, why?
Since the cell that is responsible for eliminating the infected cells is the T8 that is not included in the response cells of this experiment.
برافو يا جنى. فإذا أنا هون I need T8 to get rid of the infected body cells.
Yes.
Antibodies cannot destroy antigens inside infected body cells. فإذا that's why I need the T8. Okay, لأنه الantibodies cannot identify them on the surface of the cell, or it cannot also enter the cells. فإذا antibodies here do not help. No, since the infected cells cannot be identified by the antibodies which block only extracellular antigen. فإذا الantibodies can only bind to antigens if they are free in the blood. بينما inside the cells we cannot reach them. Clear, guys? Everyone? Any question? رنا فهمتي منيح يا رنا؟ هيدا عم يركز على secondary immune response. اوكي، ومين السيلز responsible؟ مين السيلز responsible؟ اوكي جود. طيب شو عم يصير؟ كثير ناس عم تطلع وعم تفوت، بنرجع من اول وجديد، في مشكله انترنت، ما مشكله. طيب 22 يلا. Immunity response against a virus. Immunity response against a virus. Okay. طيب I will read this part. Okay, the EBV virus infects 90% of the world population, but in the benign manner. This virus persists in the body. Its target cells are B lymphocytes. فإذا this virus attack who? Attack the B lymphocytes. Okay? فإذا a very dangerous virus. A very dangerous virus. Document 1 shows the activity of the EBV in naive B lymphocyte that have never encountered the specific antigen, and in memory B lymphocyte specific for this antigen. طيب activity of EBV بقلب النايف B lymphocyte it is active، بينما بالميموري بيكون dormant يعني hidden مخبى. Presentation of viral peptides on the surface of the lymphocyte, yes. أما بالmemory nothing is shown on the surface لأنه مخبى dormant. Production of new viruses released, yes. هناك no except if it is reactivated. Except if it is reactivated. Okay, فإذا determined by referring to document 1 how EBV virus persists and is produced in the body. How it remains، كيف بيضل بالبody وكيف بيكون produced. هلا the virus how it stays in the body لأنه بيضل dormant inside the memory cells. فإذا the virus persists in the body because it remains in the dormant state in the memory B lymphocyte. The virus is produced by naive B lymphocytes that are once infected and by the memory B lymphocytes once they are reactivated. Once they are reactivated. Okay. طيب. To better understand one of the immune responses triggered against the EBV virus, we follow up the evolution of anti-VCA and anti-EBNA antibodies directed respectively against two peptides found on the surface of this virus. فإذا هيدا الفيروس عنده two antigen عنده إياهم على السيرفس VCA EBNA. نحن we have antibodies against these two antigen We want to see the amount of these antibodies in the blood. Okay, after the infection, results are shown in document 2. Name the immune response revealed by these measurements and justify the answer. Okay, what is the immune response revealed by these measurements? And let's justify the answer. فإذا who can tell me which immune response is here used against it? Yalla, which immune response?
استاذ هون كمان humoral immune response.
لا humoral صح. Specific humoral immune response. Why يا مريم؟ لأنه أنا I am because the actors here are the antibodies, anti-VCA و anti-EBVA. طيب, now analyze the results of document 2. What can you draw out? يعني what can you conclude? Easy. Okay, after infection EBV virus, by 2 weeks, the amount of anti-VCA increases from 0 to reach 6.5 AU and remain constant after even 10 years, while anti-EBNA start to be produced after in the 7th week, increases to reach 5 after 7 months, and then start decreasing. Type. What I can conclude? I can conclude that the body develops two humoral immune response against two different peptides, where response triggered against VCA is faster, more amplified, and remain for a longer time. صح؟ بعد analyze type of response هن two يا جماعة، humoral بالانتيبوديز وcellular بالT8. فإذا anti-VCA appear in the blood 2 weeks after the infection and reach the maximum concentration 6.5 within 8 weeks after the infection, then stabilize for the following 10 years. However, anti-EBVA appear later at the 7th week and reach their maximum 5.5 after more than 7 months. Then their concentration decreases slightly to reach 4.5 after 10 years. This shows the body developed two different humoral immune response against two different peptides of the EBV virus, and that the response triggered more amplified, more sustainable than the one triggered against EBNA. واضح لحد الآن؟ Clear until now? Okay. طيب, look at the experiments here and what we did. بالexperiment 1 حطينا T lymphocytes of an individual infected with EBV و B lymphocyte infected. 100% lysed B lymphocytes، يعني كل ال B lymphocytes يلي عنده راحوا. طيب, بالتاني T lymphocyte individual infected, B lymphocyte not infected, no lysed B lymphocyte، كلهم عاشوا. يعني معناتها T lymphocytes ما كان فيهم الفيروس. T lymphocyte of an individual infected مع memory B infected no lysed. ليش؟ لأنه احنا قلنا بالبي كانت dormant الفيروس، ما انعمل له reactivation، فما ماتوا البي lymphocytes. بالفور T lymphocyte individual infected مع B infected by another virus ما ماتوا البي ليمفوسايتس، يعني الانذر فيروس ما قدر قتلوا البي ليمفوسايتس. T lymphocyte individual not infected, B lymphocyte infected by EBV, no lysed B lymphocytes. تمام؟ no lysed B lymphocytes. اوكي. اول شيء قال لي describe هين. Okay, we just say what happened. اوكي ما حاحكي بالديسكرايب هلا انا لانه we just say what happened. وحطوا كمان واتساب. انا ما حطيت ال3. انا شكلي ماني حاطط ال3 هونيك كمان. طيب هذا الفور معه كمان. اوكي. هلا explain the obtained results of these experiments. بدنا نعمل explain لهالresults يلي طلعوا عنا. اوكي. طيب هلا بدي حدا يقرا لي الاكسبلانيشن بهدوء مشان نقدر نرجع شو نشرح part by part. يلا who can read for me the explanation? يلا يا مريم.
The lymphocytes T cytotoxic having receptors that recognize infected cells presenting at the surface, self, HLA having non-self peptide which has activated the same T8 lymphocytes which is identified in the experiment 1. There is 100% of lysed BL.
يعني بالاكسبيرمنت 1 يا مريم عندك التي 8 شافوا الانتيجين on the surface of B lymphocytes ما هيك؟
Yes.
And they destroyed all these B lymphocytes.
Yes.
صح؟ فإذا هيدي ردة الفعل الطبيعية النورمال.
أما بالإكسبيرمنت 2
إيه؟
أن non-infected B lymphocytes do not present non-self peptides. This is why we do not observe any lysis.
تمام. بالاكسبيرمنت 2 non-infected do not present non-self فإذا ما في lysis. واضحة هيدي.
In experiment 3 أن B memory cells infected by the same virus as TL do not present non-self peptides. They are not identified by TC cells and they are not lysed.
فإذا الميموري سيل لأنه الفيروس بقلبهم dormant they did not present any antigen on the surface. نحن هون بنبرز على الام اتش سي 1 يا مريم ما هيك؟
Is MHC1?
ايه مش الام اتش سي 1؟
Is اللي أنا ذكرته.
الام اتش سي 2 موجود بس وين يا مريم؟ عند مين بس؟
الماكروفاج.
عند بس الماكروفاج.
Yes.
بس الماكروفاج. فإذا هون بالثري الميموري انفكتد بس ما ظهروا الانتيجين عندهم فالتي lymphocyte did not destroy them. Okay. Experiment 4.
The B lymphocytes infected by another virus present another non-self peptides. They are not identified by TC and they are not lysed.
بالفور اعطيناه بي another virus فاظهر عنده على السيرفيس فيروس غير تبع الاي بي في فالتي ال did not recognize so they did not destroy them.
Yes.
Did not destroy them. Okay. هيدا الفور بالفايف.
TL from an individual non-infected with EBV are not activated and differentiated into TC and do not cause the lysis of B be infected by the virus.
لو جبنا be infected بس التي اللي حطيناهم not activated they cannot destroy them.
Yes.
طيب التي 8 أو التي سي who will activate them يا مريم؟
T4.
T4 هم ما عندي T4
Yes.
فمشان هيك ما عندي activation.
Yes.
Okay, clear?
Clear.
Clear everyone? حطيناهم لنحن ل 27 تحسين بعد لي جنة صبحية مريم. Okay, clear for everyone? Jana قالت clear. The others, what do you say? The others, what do you say? Clear. مريم قالت clear. تحسين قال clear. محمد تمام. اوكي وقاسم صبحية. رنا شو؟ رنا